Hi everyone, Seasonal Allergies here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Mach-Hommy album, Rich Ass Haitian. Yep, here we have the newest full-length LP from prolific and elusive spitter, Mach-Hommy, which, what is there to say about Mach at this point? I've only covered his work formally a couple of times. Rarely have I been blown away by his music, but I get the appeal. The guy keeps it grimy, and I appreciate how much control he exerts over his work and his image, often obscuring his identity. That's what I'm doing over here! You're never gonna tell who I am. Yeah, but I know who you are. Oh no, you don't. My identity is sealed. But yeah, he also keeps his bars off of Genius.com. And despite his rising fame, he has continued to make sure that his songs stay within a closely knit handful of trusted producers and co-creators. Now, personally, I have found a lot of his most celebrated records so far to be maybe a bit too lo-fi, abstract, and disheveled for my taste. Not to mention his level of output can be difficult to keep up with sometimes too. But Mach is still undeniably a talented rapper, and he clearly cares about his stuff enough to do it his own way. He's a thoughtful lyricist too, a rapper's rapper, whose free associative bars on this record touch down on everything from self-motivation to illusions of a past in the drug game, the current political situation in Haiti, institutional racism, exploitation inherent in our capitalist economic hierarchy. All the nods are there, but simultaneously, Hommy is not the type of rapper to sit down and pen a whole thesis on any of this stuff in an attempt to really convince anybody of anything. You either get it or you don't. Mach-Hommy is an artist who is looking to be listened to and accepted on his own terms, and only that. With that being said though, I do think Rich Ass Haitian is his biggest attempt at trying to record and pen something that has at least a little bit of crossover appeal. And I think he's achieved that without compromising too much on his artistic mission. I mean, for one, the lead single and title track to the album features production from Kaytranada, whose grooves are typically a lot dancier than what we usually hear Mach-Hommy over. There's also an auto-tuned hook from O3 Greedo on the song that has no business being this catchy. And funny enough, Hommy sounds more than comfortable over these vaguely tropical, hip-shaking beats. And he sounds so chill and effortless in his performance, his speedy rhyme schemes sound easier to pull off than they are. I mean, overall, in the grander scheme of things, I still think Mach-Hommy's sound on this track is kind of rough around the edges and raw, but this is the most approachable I think his tracks have ever sounded. And I think the clarity to the mix on this song and many others on the album are making me appreciate him more as a rapper too, because on a lot of cuts throughout this project, he comes across as like a young Yassine Bey, formerly known as Mos Def, which is a point of comparison that has been made before, but it is a valid one. And while lyrically I still think Hommy is trying to keep things at least a little abstract and not clean up his sound too much, he's definitely focusing more on sung lines, on hooks, on song structure throughout the rest of this project too. The flow of which kind of runs like a sort of loose collection of tracks thrown together for a suite or a mixtape, which, given recent releases from Earl or Griselda or even Blade, sort of seems like the trend right now. And for sure, I think that's a valid mode to operate in as long as the vibes stay high and varied and the whole project doesn't overstay its welcome. And that is a balance Rich Ass Haitian achieves, because I think a lot like one of his creative kindred spirits, Westside Gunn, Hommy is putting his curator hat a little bit on with this one, bringing together a range of different beats and instrumental palettes and features for this variety hour mixtape as album experience, which kicks off with the murky and ominous Antonomasia with its dusty beats and droning organ keys. Lyrically, Hommy really comes out swinging. He is talking his talk, making self-comparisons to the likes of Darth Vader, as well as civil rights leader Howard Thurman. Then on the back end of the track, we have Rock Marciano, who is a pretty great fit for this track, even with that weird potty bar. Following this, POLITICKLE brings the first and one of the most stupendous sung hooks on the entire record, which works in a bit of wordplay about the International Monetary Fund, with a subtle nod to its history of being kind of a financial burden on third world nations. And the production on this track, as well as many other tracks on this record, is just incredible. So textured, so saturated, fantastic boom bap beats, crazy ass air horn drops, like again, you're listening to some grimy ass tape, but simultaneously on the back end of the song, we have these weeping strings and just incredible group vocal harmonies that are fantastically beautiful. The track is wild and elegant all at once. Then on the lyrical side, Hommy is again going pretty rapid fire, but between the nods to holy texts and Gazans having white phosphorus dropped on them, he has a lot on his mind. On Sonje, we have more boom bap flavored beats, but this time with some classy iced out pianos with Georgia Ann Muldrow on the track too. And lyrically, this track is all about saying things boldly, the things that you believe in. Hommy also puts out statements about alpha males, claiming to be alpha, helping his loved ones as well with the money he's earned from his success in music. Plus, there's just a cool charisma about him and his delivery that personally for me is hitting a lot harder on these clearer and more vibrant recordings. Then empty spaces and trances right off the bat with this opening chant. The beat that follows sounds like this lo-fi hurricane. Cohort Ural Droog is also on the song, and it sort of seems like Hommy and him are in a competition to see who can write the most unhinged bar on the song, between references to guarding loins and dog essay. Yeah, they're really testing each other's insanity on this one. We change gears though on Sur le pont d'avion, where lyrically we're getting a lot more beautiful, poetic, subtle. Hommy is really showing multiple sides of himself across this project, plus the interpolation of this 15th century French song in the mix is quite nice too. From here though, I wouldn't say the record dips down super far, but there is a kind of multi-track midpoint lull that picks back up with the song Copy Cold, mostly because of its high quality Black Thought feature. And from here we progress into a strong multi-track finish with the title track I mentioned earlier, Lon Lon, which is also one of the most catchy tracks here. There's also Same 24, which is this glamorous type advice track with Hommy rapping about his focus, his accomplishments, the idea broadly being brought up about the things that you could get done in a day if you were to just focus on your craft, your grind, whatever your passion is. It's, you know, a little bro motivational podcast coded, but still a beautiful tune, and it's not an incorrect sentiment. We also get another chill, intoxicating cut on the closer, which has more showy instrumentation, super strong focus, relatable bars too, because there's definitely a pasta dish or two I've thought a lot about. But yeah, consistently across the album, Hommy just continues to show both his capacity for high levels of dirt and filth, but also thought-provoking bars, wit, and beauty and serenity too. My biggest issue with this project overall is that with its flow being so mixtape-like and being so chaotic, there are a handful of tracks that just kind of breeze by, especially the ones that don't seem to have a strong chorus built in. They are hurt by the chaotic run of this project the most. And while I did enjoy this album very thoroughly, there are some spots where I couldn't just help but dream of the potential that it could have if conceptually it were just a bit more focused and thematic, maybe clearer in its messages, at least on the musical side, especially considering these couple of little vocal break interlude moments on the project where we have Hommy speaking on the phone to somebody, and in one very specific instance he's talking about the current political situation in Haiti. It's joked on the track that he should put this in a song, and I mean, while I guess this interlude does that on some level, I mean, you know, but also kind of, yeah, maybe, yeah. But again, would I prefer something that's a bit more defined and focused? Probably. But the haze this album creates, though, is also highly admirable. It's like an impenetrable weed cloud that progressively over time I just succumbed to. But also I didn't really feel like it was making me tune out or numbing my brain or anything. It was still engaging. It was still interesting. It was still detailed. It still felt nourishing, lyrically and instrumentally, which is why I'm pleased to say that I'm feeling a light to decent 8 on this record. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Mach-Hommy, forever.